Okay, it's a Monday morning and we're back in the workshop with this Royal Enfield Constellation, the one that's had the little but slightly irritating oil leak that's been appearing, sort of pooling on top of the crankcase just behind the cylinder barrels. And it's a small leak and initially suspected to have been coming from the crankcase joint, which is an area where they're prone to leak from. Well, I set about obviously making a start stripping it down since we ran it last time, and in that video I managed to watch it myself on a bigger screen, and it was just possible to see some sort of bubbly oiliness coming from the base gasket area, which is just above the crankcase joint. And that, combined with a sort of slightly baked look along the length of that cylinder barrel stud compared to these here. The other one's screwed out with the nut actually, so we're missing one. But when we compare what these look like to that blackened and even slightly sort of carbony one, that suggests to me that there might have been some combustion pressure getting down that one as well and aggravating the situation. But also, I believe that these stud holes in the crankcase are, or possibly could be, open right through into the crankcase, which again could sort of tie in with a slight leak around this area. On top of that, we've definitely had oil leakage from the rocker covers, only slight, but it's been there, and we can see oiliness below the exhaust port on this cylinder head, where oil has made its way down from the rocker cover, presumably around one side or other of the exhaust pipe, and got under here and obviously headed downwards. And also same sort of thing going on at the rear, where even the inlet manifold studs are quite oily with what's come out of that rocker cover. So I think, and well, I'm tempted to think that with such a small amount of oil that was appearing there, and what I found from the top end, I'm almost optimistic that our problems have come from the top end. But obviously I'm going to take the other head and barrel off as well, because we've got new gaskets all round, and it just help eliminate any possible culprits on that side as well, because there's a little bit of oiliness on those, in between those fins there. And like I say, the oil leak wasn't massive, so I'm tempted and hopeful, dare I say, that it might have all come from above the crankcase joint. So I've got a little bit of a dilemma on my hands here, because it's either carry on and strip the whole engine completely to bits, or do I follow my hunch and just rebuild the top end with new gaskets and cross my fingers that that was it. Certainly the bubbling from that base gasket we saw in the other video is a big encouragement to just do the top end, but I think it's probably time to speak to the owner and discuss the possibilities and the options, and then pick up from there. But I know if it was my own bike, I would probably replace the top end gaskets and give it a go. But that's entirely up to the owner, so I'll have to speak to him and form a plan and see where we go from here.